Welcome all you plus two common modifiers back to the stream. Welcome back to Solving the Witness, a more laid-back Let's Play where we discuss the nuances of this game and possibly solve what it's all about. I'm currently in the Shadow world. It's very bright for a Shadow world, I know, but it'll make sense in a little bit. I've solved 127 panels plus 23. I have a note over here. So we finished this segment, if I remember correctly, and we powered something, but we don't know what. Hey Kermit, welcome. I think this is your first time here on The Witness. I actually have beaten this before. But in my opinion, I didn't complete it, and I certainly didn't solve it. So this is more about discussing what do you think this game is about? What do you think it's trying to solve? Or what do you think it's trying to say? So we make notes in our notebooks, we discuss different aspects, we try to discuss symbolism. The big theory I keep discussing here... Oh, there's the deer! Last time we were here, we were trying to find this deer. There's a dead deer. Kind of. I'm trying to make it look, because clearly it's not actually a deer. It's just some sticks and a shadow. But I'm sure that there's a certain way to look. Yeah, if you look at it from a distance, it looks like there's a deer. Would you say he's sleeping, or would you say he's dead? I gotta maybe. I had never seen this before. Luckily, somebody brought this up in the chat last time. Have there been other bits of deer imagery? Not really. I know that in my research, someone said that they found a deer silhouette in a tree, which I'll be on the lookout for. But Editor Noah here. The idea I'm putting forth is the idea that this is perhaps the end of a timeline, that there are other deer throughout the island, and you could see it from birth until death if you're just looking the right way. And that seems to be wrong. There's not a lot of other deer on the island. This picture is the best I could find. This comes from Redditor KMO2000. This is supposed to be a perspective puzzle, and if you look at, you can see that there's a deer in this tree. Apparently, if you look from a different angle, it looks like doves. I don't know where this is on the island. I think based off of the clues of the trees, this might be somewhere in the treehouse area. But this is the only other deer that I could possibly say is there. Unless maybe you count the tree puzzles. If you look at the panels, it kind of looks like a stag with antlers, but I think that's a bit of a stretch. So I don't think this is the way to interpret this particular perspective puzzle. This is interesting, because I also don't feel like I'm doing it right. Because I feel like I should see both antlers. Let's see it from the other. And that's just a horned rock. Yeah, this is interesting. For this one, you kind of... Yeah, you're supposed to look at it from a specific angle, but I'm trying to... right here kind of looks like the best. Because it looks like it's dead. It looks like I see the body and the antlers. I don't think I can get a better angle than this. Well, maybe... Editor Noah popping in, and I did some research, and this is the symbolic meanings of deer and dead deer. A dead deer in dream theory represents the end of a relationship. And we talked about earlier about how there might be someone else on this island, this person who is bending the posts and eating the apples. So there is a relationship there. So perhaps this is meant to represent that whoever is doing these things is no longer on the island. Also, this whole game is about relationships. It's the relationship of shadows with the panels, or the sun with the panels, or the trees with the panels. So this whole game is about discovering the relationship, so the idea that there is an ended relationship is something to think about. But sticking further into literature, my first thought when I saw this dead deer is Robin Hood. Robin Hood is captured for daring to kill a king's dare, daring to kill the king's deer, and kills a deer, or poaches a deer, that's on the king's land. And we find this dead deer, or this illusion of a dead deer, right outside the keep, which is a very castle-looking structure. So that's the first place my mind went. In my research, I found a few other things. There are a few Buddhist stories about reincarnation and the Buddha being reincarnated as a deer. There's also a couple in Celtic mythology about deities who take the forms of deer. In Catholic faith, there is St. Giles. St. Giles lived on France basically as a hermit, and his only companion was a deer, and the deer provided him with sustenance because he would drink the milk of the deer, and he's often shown with a deer. Again, kind of relationships and things like that. And then there's, and I'm going to say it wrong, in Greek mythology, there's Achenon, who witnessed the naked figure of Artemis bathing in a pool and was transformed into a deer, and then his own dogs ripped him apart. So perhaps the deer represents, or a dead deer, represents seeing something that you're not supposed to. That seems somewhat fitting. No. There's basically 3 levels of puzzles here. There's the obvious panels, there's the environmental ones, and then there's kind of the illusions that don't count for anything. It's just a matter of discovering them. And this is one I've really never discovered. Like, this seems like the best angle, because I kind of see like an ear. That's an interesting one, because it never quite looks right. Just kind of following this cable now. Where does this go? I don't think I've ever followed this. Whoa. This is the cable I lit up from the last time. Could I view it from above? I mean, I could view it from like that castle wall there, I guess, but it wouldn't. I'm trying to get back to it. Now I've lost it. Where'd it go? Where you at, deer? It's vanished. I've scared off the deer. There it is. Like, this is the highest I think I could view it from and still see it. Maybe from up there? Let's take a look. Nah, I don't think these are rocks I can get on top of. There's no jumping in this game. If I went up there, I'll remember when I go up there, because I'm pretty sure you do go up there. But I don't think I'll see it from this angle, because it'll just... Oh, that's how you play this game. Have you not seen this game? This game is great. All right, let's continue to follow this so we can get back to our search here, and I'll show you the actual mechanics of this game. Hello, Calm. Okay, it looks like this led to this door. Oh, okay, it opened one of these gates. I'm going to need to open both of these gates to solve this, though. Okay. I wrongly learned a few puzzle lessons, got frustrated, and gave up. Oh, this game is all about just... It's Cal. All right, I'll call you Cal then. It's going very well. Lots of existential discovery, thoughts and perspective. The big things, the big takeaways so far that we've been talking about is it's very clear that this is an artificial world because a lot of it requires the sun to be in a particular place. So if this was on Earth of sorts, uh, it would not be solvable at all times because uh, the Earth moves. But that being said, it also has all this stuff like lumber, like someone was in here affecting this world.
Editor Noah here. I can't believe I didn't realize this when I was playing, but it's so obvious when I go back to edit this. The trees are being cut down to make the puzzles work. If those trees were standing there, they would be in the way of the shadows. So they had to be cut down in order to make the shadows appear on the panels and thus make these puzzles possible. So that's why this whole area had to be, lumbered.
Which is interesting. And basically, the ideas of trees representing knowledge is a big thing that we discussed. Let me see if I can find where this freaking path of puzzles is supposed to start. Because I know that there's a point where this breaks into two. Here it is. It breaks into two. Alright, so the whole gimmick with this area is the use of shadows. So basically, it seems kind of obvious here. I'm just going to follow this along. I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again. The Witness, not the kindest game to the colorblind. Alright, so we're just following the shadows. Shadows are our friends. This one's imperfect. I think all the way over? Seems right. Yeah. So I like this series of puzzles. The puzzles we just completed in the last episode was basically the opposite. You were trying to not run in the shadows. You were supposed to avoid the shadows and kind of use the light path. This is the opposite. So kind of like a nice, almost yin yang imagery here.
Editor Noah back to talk to you about the yin yang. The yin yang comes from ancient Chinese philosophy. It is a black and white circle and is meant to express the concept of dualism. Basically, the idea of contrary forces actually complementing one another. Basically, there is no health without illness. There is no comedy without tragedy. And in terms of this game, there are no right answers without there also being wrong answers, which I find pretty fitting for this area. I also wanted to bring up this concept, though. We talked in the last episode about how the one panel seems to have been shifted, and since we made the argument and the thesis that things don't change on their own, they don't change through natural occurrence, that someone physically had to have done that. Someone had to damage this panel so that it no longer lined up properly with the shadow, which is its solution. However, I also want to bring up this old image from the last video where I was so obsessed with the tree being in the background that I kind of failed to realize the importance of the fact that the shadow is being blocked by a tree here, a full-grown tree, which means that this is a tree that should have been cut down to make this puzzle work, but it didn't happen. But you can clearly see, based off of what's around, that someone is cutting down the trees to make sure the puzzles work. So perhaps this implies that not only are you not alone on the island, but maybe there's two people on the island. There's the person who wants you to solve things, and there's the person who is trying to stop you from solving things. I know we're getting a little ABC Lost backgammon game here, but it does seem possible, right?
Oh yeah, that's what it does. It tries to lure you into that false sense of security. It's also helpful that I have played this before, because like basically you're doing the opposite of what you've just been taught to do. So it does take a moment to be like, wait a minute, this is wrong. This game is like that. You get used to a mechanic and then it makes you think it's easy and then it breaks you. Yeah, I love a good game that breaks me. I've been broken by many a game. If you guys were here Monday, which I know you weren't, I finished Lisa the Painful RPG, feeling quite broken after that one. Alright, so we have to start in the middle here. It looks like I follow it down this way. This is the one that looks most continuous of a line. And then up here, and then like that. Ooh, no, incorrect. I also just finished Firefly, so I'm just all sorts of emotional these days. Yeah, so I don't think it's this because it breaks there. I don't think it's this because there's a break here. I don't think it's this because there's a break here. So that's why I think it's down, over, down, cross. Maybe like that? Then up? Then over like that? No. Maybe it is all the way across like this. What's Firefly? I had never seen it before, and it was wonderful. And if you've never seen Firefly, don't make the mistake that I did and put it off. Oh, you were being serious? So, I love this one because it looks like a dinosaur, like an excited dinosaur like this, like there's his little Yoshi head, and he's got two little arms. So I think the trick with this one is it makes you think you're supposed to do this, because that's, whoopsie, went too crazy there. Because that's the obvious thing. This is going to be wrong. Guys, Fall Guys just updated, in case you're wondering. But the thing is, there's actually a break right here. So I actually think what you're supposed to do, this is a great little trick, is the shadows actually touch here. So I think it's just this. Yeah, I love that puzzle. That one's so good. It looks like a dinosaur. It's a good trick. Love everything about it.
See that excited dinosaur right there? The solution? Decapitates it.
Covering on the show, at least, the first half really didn't grab you. Okay. I will say the first half of Firefly, the first 7, very silly, and then it gets much more serious in the second half. But I thought it was hilarious. I love Firefly. I would say I like the first 7 better. But, like, there's not a bad episode in the bunch. I can't see where it goes. I gotta just run all the way around. Yeah, so it goes right here. Huh. This is interesting. This isn't something I've never noticed before. These are posts that usually hold panels. Oh, and there's something really cool right here. Kermit, you're going to love this.
And I gotta pop up one more time, once again, to tell you about the tree of many faces you can see in the background there. If you look, you can clearly see the very detailed bald man that lives in this tree. You can see the face of this bald man here in this tree, which has, of course, many faces. I also want to point out, if you look a little bit over from that, there appears to be what looks to me like a baby carriage. That might be a little bit of a stretch, but I definitely see it. Do you see it?
Yeah, these, I'm going to do it again, but these posts are the ones that usually hold up the panels, So it's very interesting to see them just screwed about like as if this is unfinished. But it is very purposeful because if you line things up absolutely perfectly, which I already did, but then wanted to talk more and stopped. Like, a little more. That, you can do this. Le gasp! That one is one of my absolute favorites. Just, it takes so much of the environment, and like, just over here, it looks obvious. Like, you'd see this and you're like, that's very suspicious, and this is very suspicious. And if you're down there, you'll spend a lot of time looking at it, not realizing that it's all the way over here. I don't think that, I didn't see a line in the deer. But there are a few other visual like illusions like that will come across that are not environmental puzzles. So, did I already do this? All right. So this is the beauty of this. It all comes together here at the end. So the puzzles we just did open the left side. The puzzles that we did in the previous stream open the right side. Yes, we found the deer, Mike. I'm upset that you missed it. Maybe we'll go back and look at it some more. So basically, we want to use the rules from the ones we just did of staying on the shadow on the left, and then on the right, we want to stay in the light. Again, like kind of nice yin-yang imagery here. Yeah, so we stay in the light over here, and then we join the shadow here. Shadow, 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 light. And then, oopsie. Ooh. Oh crap, I tried to move my actual head, but my dumb head is blocking some of the puzzle. Yeah, like this. First try, boys. And this activates the laser. This is laser number 3. Third laser, symmetry. Yeah, symmetry, sun, and shadow. With the beam, excuse me.
And that's going to do it for another episode of Solving the Witness. And here are this episode's takeaways. 1, the yin-yang. Do you think that the representation of contrary forces that complement each other from ancient Chinese philosophy plays a role in this area, where part of it is solved by light and part of it is solved by shadows? Or are there more yin-yangs that I missed in this area or any point in the island? Let me know in the comments down below. And then there is the new theory here. Do you think that maybe there are not just someone else on the island, but 2 people? Someone that's trying to help you and someone that's trying to stop you. Someone that's trying to make it very clear what the solutions to these puzzles are by moving stuff out of the way, and someone that's trying to stop you by breaking sticks and moving panels. Let me know in the comments below. Could be a bunch of junk. Might be onto something. Also, we have the Tree of Many Faces. What do you think that is really trying to show us? And do you see the baby carriage? And then finally, the thing we talked about this entire Let's Play, what do you think of that dead deer? Is it even a dead deer? Is it just sleeping? What do you think it means? Does it mean anything? Please, let me know. And also, be sure to subscribe right here to Plus2 Comedy Gaming. And you can also join me live on twitch.tv/Plus2 Comedy on Wednesdays. And join the conversation next time we try to solve the witness.